All right, y'all, so this is the final pillar, final leg of the introduction to the Keto Savage series, 6 months of 6,000 calories, where I'm focusing on all kinds of, self-improvement, self-development, business, nutrition, training, yada, yada, yada. This one is all about the nutrition. So I'm gonna do 6 months at 6,000 calories. That is a lot of calories. I did the 21-day, 4,000 calorie challenge. That's gonna be like nothing compared to this. 6 months at 6,000 calories. That's more than double my maintenance calories. So, why am I doing this in the first place? Well, several different reasons, but before I even begin to tackle that question, I'm gonna walk you through what I'm going to eat to comprise those 6,000 calories. Here we go. So first thing you need to know is that I'm actually gonna be hitting around 6,200 calories roughly based off of the macros I have and the meals that I have in here for today. My goal, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna screen share my macro tracker here, but it winds up being like 250 grams of protein, 30 grams of total carbs for the day, and about 550 grams of fat, which is gonna break down to about 81.5% of my calories coming from fat. I'm gonna start the day with 2 cups of coffee, each cup having, let me tell you what each cup's gonna have here. I've forgotten. Each cup is gonna have 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, and 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. And I'm gonna have 2 of those, so basically 4, 4, and 2. That's gonna be how I start the day. All right, y'all, so we need some ingredients for our first meal of the day. So here at Natural Grocers, always somebody driving with some hot rod when I'm trying to record. We're at Natural Grocery. We're gonna get some ingredients for meal number 1. Let's do it. All right, y'all. So one thing we're gonna have on the first meal of the day is 2 eggs. We've got 2 eggs, and we're gonna have that on the first meal of the day. I have this in the first meal, but I'm gonna have 2 Teton waters and Dewey sausages in the second meal. So 2 of these a day. I'm also gonna have 2 ounces of cheese. I'm gonna substitute, sometimes I'll have the cheddar, sometimes I'll have the Gouda, but I'm looking for 2 ounces in which the macros break down to about 20 grams of fat and 14 grams of protein. All right, so obviously this is a very high fat ratio, very high calorie meal and like throughout the day. So I'm gonna have 1 tablespoon of duck fat to help make up some of those fat calories. I'm gonna have 2 tablespoons of ghee throughout the day again, and then 2 tablespoons of Chipotle lime mayo, which is made with avocado oil, and that's gonna be some of my fat sources for the day. All right, so another thing I'm gonna have in my meal 1 is I'm gonna have 1 whole pound of 75-25 ground beef. I get this from US Wellness Meat. It's delicious, really high fat content. So I'm gonna have 1 pound of this in meal 1. I'm also going to have a container of Peak yogurt with half of a keto brick. Now, I'm gonna have the other half of this keto brick in meal 2, but I'm gonna have 1/2 of it in my yogurt in meal 1. Don't think that I'm holding out on y'all. I'm not stockpiling these for myself. All the keto bricks that I eat are ones that have dropped on the ground and I can't legally sell, so yeah, buddy, that's what I'm doing there. All right, y'all, I got the biggest bowl I could find, but here is the pound of ground beef, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of that Chipotle lime mayo, and 1 tablespoon of that duck fat. So this, along with the half of the keto brick and the Peak yogurt, makes up meal 1. Meal 1 is 107 grams of protein, 11 grams of carbs, and 212 grams of fat. So pretty big meal. That's 2,500 calories. That's meal 1. So pretty big meal. Not too high in volume. I mean, a pound of ground beef is a pretty good bit of volume, but I'm going to put some hot sauce. Let me find my hot sauce. Okay, I've been using this Cholula hot sauce. One thing about eating a whole bunch of calories is that when you're eating a ton of food, it just becomes harder to eat a lot of food. Like, it's kind of crazy. There's 2 ends of the spectrum. When you're in a contest prep and you're not eating very much food and you're just always hungry, that is very challenging. And then when you're in like an extreme caloric surplus and you're just like, oh, I don't want to eat. Here I am eating, and that's also very difficult. So there's definitely challenges on both sides, but it's good. You know, always getting better. So this is meal 1. My meal 2 will probably be around, I'm gonna shoot for 2 meals a day, which is gonna be kind of challenging. I'm gonna do 1 keto brick a day, 1 full keto brick a day, just to make eating this many calories a little bit more easy. And then I'm gonna do the fatty coffees for sure to help in the morning hours, getting the calories in. So that's kind of where I'm gonna be comprising my calories of. I'll show you meal 2 when we get there. All right, y'all, so for my last meal of the day, again, I'm only doing the 2 meals, but for my second meal of the day, I'm gonna have the andouille sausages, those Teton water sausages, the ones that come in a package that looks like this. I love these things, by the way. I'm gonna have the other half of that keto brick. I'm going to have some of that Gouda cheese or that cheddar cheese, but about 2 ounces of cheese, basically. And then I'm going to also have, let me show you. 16 ounces, so a pound of ribeye. I'm gonna have 1 ribeye a night, at least for this meal. I might switch that and make that my first meal and then have the ground beef my second meal, I don't know. But most of my protein is gonna come from that ground beef and from the steak. So that's gonna be my 2 big meat meals. And yeah, I'm also gonna have like some ghee, cooked in ghee. I'm gonna have some butter, and then some fish oil as a supplement. And I'll do a whole nother video on like what supplements I'll be taking. I might change it up a little bit, but that's basically what the meals look like. Let me show you this macro breakdown in my computer on a screen share. So welcome to my computer. All right, y'all, here we are in my phone. I use My Macros Plus as the macro tracking app. So I'm just gonna give you kind of a visual of what my meals are gonna break down as. The AM drink is my 2 keto fatty coffees, each of which is gonna have 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, and 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. The first meal is gonna be after I train in the morning. So this is gonna be at some point in the afternoon. I'm gonna have 2 eggs, a tablespoon of duck fat, 2 tablespoons of the Chipotle Lime Primal Kitchen mayo, half a keto brick, and 16 ounces of that 75-25 ground beef, along with 1 container of the Peak yogurt. That's gonna break down to 107 grams of protein, 11 grams of carbs, and 212 on the fat. The second meal is gonna be sometime in the evening. I'm only doing 2 meals a day right now. It's gonna be a steak, 1 16-ounce ribeye cooked in about a tablespoon of butter and 2 teaspoons of ghee. I'm also going to have the other half of that keto brick, and I'm also going to have 2 of the Teton Waters uncured beef sausages and 2 ounces of organic Gouda. Let's see here. I'm also going to have fish oil as a supplement there, 1 teaspoon of that, which means my macros for the day are going to break down to about 254 grams of protein, 25 grams of total carbs, and 547 on the fat, for a total of 6,219 calories. You can get kind of a better breakdown on this page here. Again, you can kind of see the macros. That sodium is not accurate. I'm going to be adding pink salt to all those meals, so that sodium is going to be a bit higher. And let's see here. The total fat is 81.5% of my calories, so quite a high fat ratio at such a high caloric intake. Those are my macros. That's what we got going. Boom. So while I've got you on my computer here, I'm going to go ahead and transfer over to my computer rather than my phone. We are in Heads Up Health right now. I've got an account with Heads Up Health. This is what I use to track all of my data, my weight, my body fat percentage, my blood markers, everything. I haven't been too good about doing it lately because I haven't really been in an experiment, but now that I'm back into an experiment, here I am tracking religiously yet again. I just got a new scale. It's the Withings scale by Nokia, so it's automatically putting my weight in, which is pretty freaking cool. Some of the stuff that it measures I don't really find accurate, like 16% for the body fat. I think that's probably a little steep for me, but yeah, I like that it automatically records my weight without me having to enter it manually. That saves me time. I'm also going to be tracking my glucose and ketones. probably not daily, but I am going to track that. I do want to get a sleep tracker because I'm very curious on what my sleep is doing. I don't know what this is. I don't know when I got 7 hours sleep last, I guess in October. But yeah, that is kind of what I got going on there. Here are my measurements that I'm going to also monitor. This is pretty cool. I can just pretty much click on whatever I want and add the measurement. So I'm going to do that on a probably like a bi-weekly or at least a monthly basis during the next 6 months here. Here are my macros. These auto-populate from my Macros Plus, which is what I just got done showing you on my phone, which is pretty nice here. And the cool thing about this is you can click on this graph and then it shows you kind of over time what your macros have been doing. So I like the way that this is laid out. You just get, all this data at your fingertips. Huge shout out to Heads Up Health here. Again, this is another one of the things. I don't think my heart rate is 89. Last time I checked it with a Fitbit, it was like 48. So I don't think that is too accurate. I am going to manually be tracking my strength as well. I've entered squat, deadlift, bench press, and overhead press. These are what kind of the markers I'm tracking with regard to strength. And let's see here. This is 375. I'm trying to figure it out. So here we go. So you can put notes on these. So for squat, I did squats today, for instance. I did 375, 4-5, and then I dropped back down to 325 for 10. So I'm kind of writing this in a way that's going to be easy for me to understand. That's not like 375 for a single max, but I'm doing it for reps. So that's kind of what I've got going on there as a way to track my strength increases. And yeah, I'm going to just kind of track other data as we go. Oh, another cool thing that I'm going to be doing is I go to, let's see here, my data, and you can track your blood work in here too. I'm going to get another blood panel done, before, probably not before the 6 month 6,000 calories officially starts, but very soon into the series. And I'm going to track against that throughout the next 6 months. These are my last numbers, kind of going back a ways. I do want to get testosterone checked as well and see how that's manipulated during the next 6 months, as well as, some other markers like C-reactive protein, A1C, et cetera, et cetera. So that is another huge perk of Heads Up Health. It's just simply a way to keep all of your data in one place and be able to monitor it closely. So that is what we got going on there. Yeah, that's what we got going on there. Lots of data. I'm all about the data, so I'm going to be tracking and monitoring very, very closely. All right, so real quick, I wanted to kind of wrap up this vlog and just talk about why I want to do 6,000 calories in the first place. And there's a couple different reasons. So let's just start from the top. One, when I used to eat carbs and I bulked up to 230 pounds, I was eating 6,000 calories. And it wasn't fun. I got super fat. I got 230 pounds, and I was like 29, probably 30% body fat, which was terrible. I don't anticipate getting that fat this go around. I do anticipate getting fat. I think I alluded to that earlier in the series, but I have no doubts that I'm going to put on some body fat. I've already put on body fat. I've been kind of eating at will since the DSK cut, because I'm trying to titrate the calories back up so that my digestive tract is ready to handle 6,000 calories. You don't just like randomly go from 2,000 or 1,500 calories to 6,000 and expect your digestive tract to be okay with that. So I've had to kind of work my way up and adjust to get acclimated. I do anticipate putting on a lot of body fat. I also anticipate putting on a ton of muscle and getting much stronger, adding a lot of strength. People always ask about how to do a clean bulk. This is going to be clean in the sense that all of my meals and food products are going to be from quality sources. I'm not going to be putting in a bunch of junk calories, not a whole bunch of sweets, not any artificial sweeteners or anything like that. So it's going to be really good, clean ingredients. But it's going to be dirty in the sense that it's just going to be an obscene amount of food. Like, you don't need 6,000 calories to build muscle. I don't need 6,000 calories to build muscle. I've been building muscle quite well at 2,500 to 3,000 calories for the past, several years. So So this is kind of more of an experiment to satisfy my curiosity and just to see what happens. I'm curious to compare how my body responds to 6,000 calories now that I'm keto versus 6,000 calories when I bulked up to 230 pounds using a carbohydrate and really just dirty bulk approach. I'm also curious to see how my blood work responds. I'm curious. There's just a lot of things I'm curious to see. The main reason I'm doing this is because I really just want to build a massive amount of muscle. There's so many haters out there saying you can't build muscle on keto, and I'm going to just put that to rest right now. I've built a lot of lean quality muscle over the past 4 years of being keto adapted, but I really want to condense that and just build a ton of muscle over the next 6 months. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah, that's kind of like a couple of the high-level introductory views of why I want to do 6,000 calories in the first place. I don't recommend it. And real quick, I might vary it a little bit. I might do 6,000 calories like 6 days out of the week and then have one day where I do a fast, simply because I want to have a little bit of variance throughout the week. Like, I don't want to just do 6,000 calories indefinitely every single day for 6 months, because then your body's going to be just like, you're going to tap out. It's just not going to be as responsive. You have to kind of cycle things. You have to provide a stimulus to the body, take that away, just keep your body guessing. So I think having 6,000 calories 6 days out of the week and then maybe fasting for a day is going to be good for me. Plus, it'll kind of minimize a lot of the unnecessary body fat gain and also help with, cell turnover, autophagy, all that stuff you hear about in the fasting communities. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at now. I'll let you know of any other tweaks and adjustments that I make along the way. I'm excited to get started. I'm already feeling full and fat, so let's see how big and strong and fat I get in 6 months. Let's do it.